Hi, welcome back to Let's Build. Well, the Ruiner ZZ-8 is 40% off this week, which my calculator tells me is less than 800,000, so I think that's really a bit of a must buy. I mean, it's not a discontinued car, but if you're into your later muscle cars, well worth having. There is a more obvious build to the car. We'll look at that briefly as well, but our main build is this race car, which is the IROC, or International Race of Champions car, from 1996. It's effectively, therefore, a North American oval racing stock car. It's the one we've been given the livery for, so it would be so rude not to build it. Of course, the ZZ-8 is based on a late 90s, early noughties Pontiac Firebird, and our more obvious build is the one that came at the end of the run, the collector's edition, which we have the approximation for the livery for. That's how I had it in my 2023 garage tour. A lot of people have built it like that, of course, and it looks really good. So this is our slightly less obvious build. So into the workshop we go with our ZZ-8. As always, I suggest putting the armour to full if you drive the car at all, just to keep it pretty. Brakes is up to you. Now for the front bumpers, you can see that I want the splitter to not really be much of a splitter, and I do want some vents in it. And the primary vented splitter does this well. As we go further down, we get more and more outrageous splitters with rods, and even the stock one that you'd expect to be quite smooth is actually quite pointy. So of all, primary vented splitter there. Moving to the rear, you can see there really is nothing in the way of a diffuser on the standard car. It's all just white bumper, so all the diffuser options are wrong. The primary diffuser at least disguises it with the paint. I generally pop the engine to level 4 even if I'm not tuning up everything. The real car has side exhausts, and this car, as you can kind of see, only has rear exhausts all the way down the list. So I've gone stock because they merge in so well. They are the least obvious of the exhausts that are on there. The hood is slightly awkward. The race car is a sort of smoothed over hood, but it's not completely smooth by any stretch. It still has some of these ram vents sort of visible on the hood, but nothing like as visible as the full ram vents on the car. It doesn't have an induction cowl. So I really don't think you can have the big ram scoops on there. I just don't think they're going to work. They're far too obvious, not on the race car. So I've gone for the smoothed hood, even though I will quite admit it's too smooth, but I think it works the best in this particular case. For the lights, either leave them alone or do what I did here and waste $20,000 on some nice white lights from the car meet. For the livery, you can see that the one that's on the car is quite a close match if you were to take the light blue away and put some little gold lines on instead. So that's the bottom one of the list, the Redwood livery. And I thought you might like to look at the other liveries on the car whilst we're here, in case you don't own it yet. Tribal Flame, this is the one that you use for the collector's edition we looked at previously. Ruiner Bird puts the Firebird on the bonnet like I wish we could do on some of the earlier ones. You couldn't see the white stripes because the car is a crew white, but you can see the black stripes. We've got the flames. That looks like it's probably a real one from something. So does that. And this is the one good race car livery, so that was quite easy. Obviously not putting mud guards on. Maybe we just go back quickly and just look at the mud guards. It just comes down to the colour. Plate is up to you. I suggest a white plate just to merge it in. Of course, we'd rather not have a plate on it at all. So we're on crew white here. Now you can use crew white on this car, or you could just use the standard classic ice white. It doesn't really make any difference because there's no white parts of the livery that need to be hidden by using crew white, so I wouldn't bother with crew white unless you just happen to have it set already. And if you look at the secondary, it's changing the bar, the C-pillar bar, so that has to be the same colour white. Now onto the roof. Looking first again at this C-pillar, you can have it plastic or carbon or whatever. No, you just want it stock, which is $750 cheaper than ticking primary. For the roof, we want the panels filled in, but we want to be able to pick up the red from the livery. And you see primary T-top, that does that. That is absolutely perfect. Ah yes, the skirts. I wanted something that was about the same level as the lower of the front of the car, and I wanted a straight line. Now the stock skirt, as you saw, is about right, but it's got this pronounced curve to it, not straight. When you hit the primary side skirt, it's straight but it has a little wing. The primary ridge skirts, they're actually pretty good, but then again they have that obvious sort of coloured ridge in them that doesn't quite work either. So, you know, I'm going to say either take the primary ridge skirts and accept the ridge, the primary side skirts and accept the smaller of the wings, or just take stock skirts. I think any of those three, I say I went primary side skirt on this one. For the sun strip, we want a black sun strip with white writing, so take the black Fukaru or Mindmact ones and pop that on there. The spoiler, we want a big ducktail. Now the ducktail on the real car is extended with perspex and it's all supported with rods. Unfortunately we can't have that on this car. Stock spoiler simply doesn't work. We then move into wing type spoilers that are no good. The ducktails are fine, and then we're into wing type again, so really the primary ducktail, or of course you could pick secondary in this particular case, I'm going to work the best for you. Street suspension is not that low, and nor is the race car. I think it works quite well for that one. And moving on down through the transmission up to you. Trunk, well, you're not going to touch the trunk, it's just whether you want it secondary, pointless, or carbon. For the wheels, the muscle class have the revolver wheel in there, and if you splash out on the chrome version of that, I think it looks really good. And this is the moment I realise I forgot to put the tyre writing on the car, and I've already filmed the intro and the outro, so do excuse that being missing. Don't forget the bulletproof tyres, of course, so here goes the tyre writing. I wish we could have a different colour than white, but in the muscle class you can't, it's white or nothing. No tinted windows, of course, on a race car, so that is the build complete. I do enjoy these builds on the car when they're perhaps the less obvious build, and I do think this looks pretty good as a race car despite the one or two limitations that we went through. If this has inspired you at all to maybe alter the build on your car, or even to buy one of these, I really would appreciate a like, as I would if you enjoyed it. Comments would be great, especially a comment requesting something else I can do with the Let's Build series. I'm always going to try and do one or two that are either on sale or back for the week. But let's face it, a viewer request is always that much more fun. I hope you enjoyed this short video, and thank you so much for watching.